What is up, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to our week 2 battle against the Zellwood Zoruas, coached by Jordan. If you want to check them out, be sure to look in the description down below. And but first, of course, as always, cue in the intro. Alright, so right now we're 1-0 after picking up our very first victory in our week 1 battle. And I was pretty nervous about this battle just because this is a really scary rain team, and there's so many threats that can go and that can factor into this, and it's frightening. And shoutouts to Jordan once again for being an awesome guy. We were supposed to have our battle breaking fourth wall. We were supposed to have our battle like on Friday, and I was just like stuck out in the snow all day. I was waiting for a bus and it just was full 3 times. I came back home, like it took me almost 2 hours to get back home, and I only live like 45 minutes away, just walking. On bus it's like 10 minutes, and I was just fed up with like the day and stuff, and I was like, hey man, I'm sorry, can we schedule it for another day, like tomorrow? Just had a bad day, don't want to like really go into a battle. And he's like, yeah man, that's awesome. So thank you so much for doing that. It really means a lot to me, especially when you're having like a horrible day like that. So thank you so much. Be sure to check him out and subscribe to him. He's an awesome guy. And I think he's just starting up his channel, so send some Cap and Crump love over there. That'd be awesome. But anywho, as you can tell, this is gonna be a post-match, just because I was busy when I was doing this battle. There was people over, so lots of excuses at the first 2 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. But anywho, yeah, let's just talk a bit about the team that he has. He has Mew, Tornadus, T, Pelipper, moistness, Volcanion, Regirock, Barrel, Ludicolo, Almastar, Meryl, and Bertic. So pretty heavy team that relies on rain. Tornadus is scared because Hurricane hurts so much, and it's frightening. It's really frightening. So I try to prep for that. I figured, you know what can really stop that is a Assault Vest Ditto, because Regenerator is so good. I've used it against the Tornadus once. It did really well, surprisingly. And I have a couple other things that can sort of handle it. Hopefully like Rotom and my other bulky mons can take it on. And then he has the Mew, which is something that you can't really prep for. It's something that you gotta look at it and you gotta be like, alright, we're in this, it's gonna be happening. And he did bring in the Mew, so I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be tricky. And then he has other scary rain Pokemon like Ludicolo, Bertic, Almastar, Volcanion, moistness, all those things enjoy the rain. Luckily for me, he doesn't have anything that really appreciates Thunder. So we packed Thunder on Rotom after, watching the first week battle. I was like, alright, so Thunder is pretty apparent. It hurts his team. And surprisingly, Cryogenal actually has a really good matchup on this. Freeze Dry, 1-hit KO Swampert, 1-hit KOs Ludicolo. It does a decent amount on Volcanion, it does a decent amount on Tornadus, it does, I think it's a 1-hit KO on Almastar too. And then another thing that was pretty apparent was, other than Mew and Pelipper, I believe, that's the only way that he can get rid of hazards. So I'm like, oh boy, this is a great opportunity for stacking hazards, because A, if he's a defense Mew, that's awesome because I have things that can deal with that. And B, I can get Mew poison, so either he's gonna have to put on Defog and Heal Bell, or he's going to keep those statuses. And with that, I can sort of build up a lot of momentum. And that allows him to not set up properly, because things like Ludicolo want to have Life Orb and do a lot of damage. Things like Volcanion want to do that too. Almastar wants to set up, Mew can potentially set up too, so getting things poisoned and putting things at range where I could potentially do a lot of damage, that was something I really looked into. So that's what I sort of had my mindset on. I was like, Pythagoras, you're doing your thing again. Raffle Coffin, Toxic Spikes, Energy Ball, and Hacks with a bit of Pain Split. And then I brought in Lycanroc midday form. This is pretty much here to take on Tornadus, Pelipper, and then on Volcanion too. So I was really happy to see those. Well, I was happy to see Tornadus T and Volcanion on there, because it actually does a lot of work. And if I can set up Stealth Rocks, that's awesome too, but it wasn't really the biggest thing in terms of it. It would have been nice because it guaranteed 1-hit KO on Tornadus whenever it came in, and Stealth Rock damage is always good damage. Free damage is always nice. That's the good old saying there. And then we have our Assault Vest Virizion because we don't have a lot of things that take Hydro Pumps, Scalds, or Giga Drains, or Ice Beams from Ludicolo. Salt Vest, Virizion actually does that relatively well. So we're just gonna jump right into this, and right away, I was like, you know what? I want to set up my Toxic Spikes because, you know, he doesn't have Mew, or he does have Mew, and if he does have Mew, then I can get up my Spikes right away, and everything on his team doesn't a lot of things don't like Spikes. So I'm like, alright, Mew against, we're gonna go through this fast, against Rafflecoffin, and I was like, boy, this is a great matchup for me because turn 1 we're already looking pretty good, and I can start Scout to see what this is. So I'm staying in, I'm setting up my Toxic Spikes because if I get rid of this Mew, that means Toxic Spikes are gonna stay on the field for a very long time. So at this point, he's going for a Z move, Never Ending Nightmare, and I was like, uh-oh, what have I done? This is not good. And it ends up being a physical Mew, and I'm like, oh, that got my heart. And my heart skipped a beat right there because I was like, this could do a lot of damage. And then I saw the damage, I was happy with it. I was just, it was good. It was really, really nice. And I got up my Toxic Spikes. So this means Spikes are going to stay on his side of the field for a very, very long time. At this point, it's just kind of chain of events where, you know, he sets up his Stealth Rocks. I guess he's some sort of ghost type, like he's Z Ghostnanium or something like that. Let's see, yeah, something like that. And he sets up his Stealth Rocks, and I was like, well, that's not bad because my team doesn't really hurt from it. Cryogentle has Rapid Spin. I can get rocks off. I wasn't the biggest thing for me because like I didn't think it was a big thing. So he ends up bulking up, and I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy, I get 2 Laser Spikes, but he's bulking up in front of me. He's flexing. This tiny little thing is flexing all over me. But I do get 2 Laser Spikes, which means a lot of things on his teams are going to be taking a lot of damage. So he can't really play that game of, you know, keep on switching out. And I can eventually wear him down to a point where all my Pokemon can take out one thing bit by bit. Like, Cryogentle is going to be doing some big damage once a couple mons go down. So I go for the Hex. I packed Hex on this thing just because, you know, I have the poison thing on it. Plus, I do have the Rocky Helmet. Click Hex once more, and Mew is gone. And I'm like, that's great. Mew was the biggest thing that was scaring me. So Mew gone means Spikes are gonna stay here for forever. I guess they're gonna just stay on his side of the field. Swampert gets poisoned. Swampert in the rain isn't a big thing. I was like, you know what, I can sack off Rafflecoffin. There's no point of going for anything else. I don't want to make the play into like Virizion, and he predicts me and goes for Ice Punch and put myself in a bad situation. There's no point of doing that, and Rafflecoffin doesn't really do a lot at this point. Already being worn down, like Waterfall is going to take me down easily, so I'm just going to stay in. He gets the KO. It's 1-on-1, but you know, he doesn't have Swift Swim anymore for only this turn, so if it's a Rain Dance Swampert, it's not going to happen. And at this point, I'm like, you know what, let's just play it safe. I'm going to go for Energy Ball. I packed Energy Ball and Giga Drain on this thing just because Energy Ball is more damage to Volcanion. And like it makes sense to me. Like, Energy Ball and Giga Drain was all the coverage that I needed. It has Hidden Power Electric and Focus Blast just in case he brought Beartic. That's pretty much the only coverage I needed. So I can easily switch out into Ditto to scout what sort of Volcanion this is. And he ends up going for the Steam Eruption. I'm like, that's sweet because I get back to a decent amount of health, and I'll put it back to this. So I was like, oh boy, it's Toxic. I think it was Toxic, Taunt, Flamethrower, Steam Eruption, Volcanion. So I know he's not going to be going for another move. Like, he's not going to be doing this again. And I was like, you know what, I can't really do much to him. That sucks. So I wasn't going to stay in. I figured, you know what, I can get some momentum. And I'm close to making a prediction over here, but no, I'm not real enough. And that's because it just wasn't worth it for me. I have things that can check Swampert. And I was like, you know what, I'm going for Volt Switch. But on the flip side on this too was that I can actually take down Swampert. Like, it's a roll for this. If I get a low roll, then I don't take it down. If I get a high roll, I take it down. And I'm like, I don't know if I really need 8-bit. It's poisoned, it doesn't really do much, and if I lose 8-bit, I can really gain a lot of momentum. So I decide, you know what, let's fire off a Hidden Power Grass. He ends up setting up his Rain, and I'm like, that's perfect, because if I had switched out, I would have been in a bad situation. I burn one turn of Rain right here, and he dies to poison right next turn. So I'm like, good, that works out. So it worked out in my favor. I'm happy with this. Ludicolo now gets poisoned, and I have my hard check right here. Like my right, like I hard counter that being Braixen, the Braixen. Yeah, come on, Cap. You're not making your nicknames right. So that does 15% in the Rain. A Life Orb, Ludicolo. I'm like, boy, how is that damage? Yummy. Give me some of that water. You just sprayed it all over me. And that's fantastic for me, because that is just, oh, that was lovely. It was so lovely. Like, he takes 9% right here. And then he takes some more poison damage. So I can stay and do this all day. I can go for Giga Drain, and I'll end up taking not a lot of damage. So I'm happy with this situation. And I end up just going for another Giga Drain just to get some damage off. I get a high roll on this, I think. And this tells me it's not an Assault Vested Tornadus. So I'm like, alright, let's see what sort of Tornadus this is. And I should have done the calcs over here, because it's pretty obvious what it is. This does 69% to my Ditto with an Assault Vest. And I was like, oh boy, that's not a lot. So I psych off Ditto over here, because I see what his moves are. It's nothing really that big. And I'm like, he's going for U-turn. He's going for U-turn. What I didn't realize was this thing was Choice Spec Tornadus. And I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. So I can send out Lucy over here, my Lycanroc, to actually just go for Accelerock and do some decent damage. As you can tell over here, nice damage, 30%. And put back at 23, so I can go for another Accelerock. I figured, you know what, let's bluff something over here. Maybe he might think I'm Choice Banded or something like that, so I'm locked into this move. And Ludicolo comes back out, so I wasn't really feeling it. In reality, I could have just gone for a Crunch and just taken this thing down. But I'm just gonna go for the Hidden Power over here. Braixen picks up another KO. Tornadus comes out once more, and I'm like, well, 8-bit, you're going down. You are going down. So without the Rain, this thing can actually, it's sort of a roll. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm going for Rock Slide. I'm taking it down. If it has Focus Blast, so he's gonna click it. He's gonna click Focus. I'm pretty sure he had Focus Blast. So I have the Chople Berry either way. So I'm like, I can take one hit, but he misses his Hurricane, and that's bad for him, because first of all, I put this thing at 10%. Him hitting his Hurricane would probably have taken down my Lycanroc. 100%, it would have taken it down. And that's bad. That's really bad. So I end up taking this thing down with the revenge kill. And oh, it's bad because I think either Tornadus T either swept at that point, or Cryogentle could have taken one or two and gone for the Freeze Dry, and I don't know what Omastar would have done. So it was sort of, you know, if you were playing it bit by bit there, it would have been a much closer match, because at this point Omastar is going for the Shell Smash. I don't know what it wants to do. I know I can take one Ice Beam from it, and either way I did calc my Cryogentle to outspeed this Omastar, just in case a situation like this happened, and just in case, you know, like I saw that I could outspeed a Adamant Swampert or Ludicolo, so I could outspeed those things in the rain. And if Omastar got a +2, I could still outspeed it. So I wasn't really put in a position where I could have lost the battle. So even if he'd gone for Ice Beam or had it, I don't think it would have taken me down, because I'm Assault Vested and fully in HP. So it might have been a roll. So I end up taking this thing down, and we pick up our second victory of the SBL. And clean, a nice 3-0, but that miss on the Tornadus was it wasn't. It was big. I think it was low-key big because it could have done a lot of damage to my team, Amistar and Tornadus, but I'm happy that we brought in a team that was a bit, like, we brought in all our Pokemon already for this season. We had like a much more different team in our first week. This week we brought in like Crychannel, Ditto, Virizion, Rotom, Lycanroc, and Cofagris being the repeat. That's already all our Pokemon on our roster, and I'm really proud of that because it's a real confident booster to see that, you know, you can bring in things that are like lower ranked in terms of the tiers, and if you play with it well enough or decent enough, it can perform in a league relatively well as long as you prep and play decently. So I didn't really have to make a lot of hard predictions. I didn't really have to make, you know, it was a 25 turn battle, and I didn't have to make those hard predictions or predictions to put myself in a winning position. It was a straightforward battle. I send out this Pokemon, he sends out that Pokemon, and it was just pretty much letting the team play itself and letting the things that, you know, I prep for show in the battle. So it was nice to see that. But I'm gonna get going. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, check out Jordan's channel and sub to his channel too. And be sure to check out everyone else's channel. Lots of channels in that sentence. But anywho, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna get going. Week 3. Oh yeah, this is a division, in-division battle. So really big, really awesome, really great win. And yeah, so anywho, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.